And starting off with the first game of the season, like the past couple of years, in Ireland, North Carolina versus TCU. I actually just made a CFB 27 sim video of it. I'll pin it up here. You can go watch it after this video. The Ireland game has been the opening kickoff game for the past couple of years in week 0. Last year with Kansas State, Iowa State, and the year before that, Notre Dame, Florida State. And this game has been an upset pretty much every single year the past couple of years. And now it's North Carolina versus TCU. This game is at noon. And if you remember this game last year, it was the first game under Bill Belichick at North Carolina after winning all of the Super Bowls with the Patriots. And now TCU loses their quarterback, Josh Hoover, to Indiana, and now are starting new quarterback Jaden Craig for the 2026 season. Bill Belichick's team last year, North Carolina, under Gio Lopez, was awful. They were awful. Really, really bad last year. But now, looking at this game, North Carolina, it's pretty much even. North Carolina has a 48.5% chance to win to the matchup predictor for ESPN Analytics. But TCU is a 9-point favorite. I think part of always these early spreads is so much based on the season before. And North Carolina, I think, is going to get better. There's not a lot to go off for this game because this is the week 1. There's no stats for previous weeks. It's just almost all about returning production. I'm excited for this game. As much as I hate international games, the Ireland game is actually, it's nice. I remember when Florida State, Georgia Tech went to that game. They did game day, and watching game day in Ireland was awesome. But they didn't do it last year. I don't think they'll do it this year. But if they did, that would be awesome. But TCU, 9-4 last year. They had a great season. They've always kind of been in those 8, 9, 10 win range. Obviously, they made the national title a couple years ago. So for now, for this game, it's hard to say because this is the first game of the season. The Ireland game has been upset. I have picked this game wrong every year. I picked Florida State to beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech beat Florida State. I picked Kansas State to beat Iowa State. Iowa State beat Kansas State. Last year, I picked North Carolina to beat TCU. I want to pick TCU to win this game, but this game has been an upset over and over and over again, which is why I'm going to pick North Carolina to beat TCU the next game. And this is at 3:30, right after the last game. NC State versus Virginia. And I actually think this game is a bigger game than the North Carolina TCU game because Virginia was in the ACC Championship last year. If they beat Duke in overtime, they go to the college football playoff. NC State had a decent year. They had okay. Let me check. They won their last 3 games. Won their last 4 out of 5 games. They beat Georgia Tech last year. They destroyed Memphis. They beat Florida State. Beat North Carolina. And they returned their quarterback CJ Bailey, who, if you don't know, was Jeremiah Smith's quarterback in high school. CJ Bailey is a great quarterback, especially for the ACC. But Virginia is heavily favored in this game, 68.1% chance to win this game, and then a 4-point favorite at home. Is this game at home? Yes. I hate all these week 1 games. They're always like neutral site. I hate it. This game's actually at Virginia, and Virginia has a cool ass stadium. But this game will be on 3:30. I like NC State. I also really like Virginia. Last year, Virginia was starting Chandler Morris, who was a decent quarterback, and now they have Bo Pribula, who was at Missouri last year. And remember, he was the backup behind Drew Aller at Penn State 2 years ago when they made the semifinal. So Bo Pribula has been around almost every power conference, has a lot of experience. But man, CJ Bailey is a dynamic athlete. So I'm going to pick 2 upsets. I'm going to pick NC State to beat Virginia in week 0. And I think this is probably the best game of week 0. But then 7 p.m., Hawaii versus Stanford. This is the 7 o'clock games. So all these games are back to back to back. Stanford is a 3.5-point favorite, 60.6% chance to win this game. And last year, Hawaii beat Stanford in a great upset. The game-winning field goal by a guy who learned how to kick field goals from YouTube. Hawaii was so fun to watch last year. They were 9-4, were this close to being 11-2. They beat Cal with Sagapatule in their bowl game last year, which was awesome. But now, Stanford, remember, Andrew Luck is not their head coach. He's their general manager, athletic president, whatever you want to call it. Hawaii returns Micah Alejado. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Micah Alejado, who was a quarterback last year. Had a great season. He had 24 touchdowns, I think 9 interceptions, over 3,000 yards passing. QBR wasn't that great, but he was a sophomore. He's going to be a junior now. I think he's a much better quarterback than Stanford's quarterback, who, if you don't know, is Davis Warren. That's right, the Davis Warren who played for Michigan in 24 when they upset Ohio State, which obviously that's what he's known for. But Davis Warren is not a good quarterback. He is not a good quarterback. His story is a great story, but he is not a good quarterback, which is why I can't believe I'm doing this. For the 3 games I'm predicting in week 0, I am picking 3 upsets. North Carolina to upset TCU, NC State to upset Virginia, and Hawaii to upset Stanford. All road teams upsets. That's what college football is about. That's why we love college football. For the other games in week 0, USC takes on San Jose State. I'm not worried about that game. North Dakota State hosts Jacksonville State, who this is their first game in the FBS. Sacramento State also their first game in the FBS. They're in the MAC, which is, I can't believe Sacramento State, who's in California, is in the MAC conference with Ohio, Eastern Michigan. A Midwest conference has a team from California. Florida State hosts New Mexico State. If they lose that game, that'll be the funniest thing ever. UNLV hosts Memphis, who actually we'll talk about this game. I even forgot this game was happening. UNLV hosts Memphis. What's the spread? UNLV is 4.5-point favorite. They lost Calandria. He goes to Nebraska. Memphis, Aaron Nolan just lost a quarterback battle. I won't pick an upset for this game. I will pick UNLV to win. UNLV is my group of 5 team to get to the CFP. So I'll predict 4 games in week 0, 3 upsets. I'll pick UNLV to win at home. So I'll say I'll actually predict that game. For the other games, let me see is there anything else in week 0? There usually isn't. Rutgers hosts Massachusetts. I think that's week 1. Yeah, that's week 1. So yeah, those are all the games in week 0. Most of them are on Saturday, I think. Yeah, they're actually all of the week 0 is on Saturday, so it's not spread out. So yeah, those are my picks for week 0. It's the first time we've been doing this ever since the end of last year. So it's great to be doing this again. So again, NC State over Virginia, North Carolina over TCU, Hawaii over Stanford, and UNLV over Memphis. If you guys enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing. We are so close to 700. Also, make sure to hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Who do you think is going to win these week 0 games, as we are 2 days away from the beginning of the 2026 college football season. The off season was so short. I can't believe we're already here. But again, thank you guys all for watching. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. And as always, thank you.